like that. Woo!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle.
Hey, and it's your co-host that does it the most. It's your boy at RickMasters23 or Mr. Lee on Instagram. Y'all already know what time it is. B Jizzle, go ahead, throw the assist back to you.
Before we get started, man, make sure y'all hit that like button as y'all enter in, man. Hit that like button. Like I said, hit the like, share, subscribe button. And if you guys want to get y'all memberships, they are available right now. As you guys can see, membership badges are available, super stickers and super comments. If you have a comment you want to drop, make sure you hit that touch button, the live button right below the video in the chat. Get a comment put out for y'all if we do not see it instantly. And as well, hit that Cash App as well, Cash App $ BJ Matthews for all this great content that we have dropped and all these great interviewers. We had a great interview last night with, member appreciation night. Rick Barry will be pulling up on Sunday morning as well. Make sure y'all come in and support that. But tonight we have a familiar face, very well-known guest, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's been, with us for quite some time. He's back for a second stint with us at the Pull Up Basketball family. Our guy, former NBA player, current color analyst for the Houston Rockets. Our guy, Ryan Hollins. What's good, big homie?
Man, what's going on, guys? Good to be back. I know we've been trying to arrange this for a while, but definitely good to connect with you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what you been up to, man? I know it's been quite a time, about 6 months since you've been on the pod. So what's been up with you, man?
Man, really just finished up the season over here in Houston, playing with the Big Three now and working on my podcast, NBA Rookie Life with Ryan Hollins. So, man, just and running around with these kids. So things are pretty simple for me, man.
Cool. Right. So let's talk a little bit about your about the Big Three, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that's kind of been the scheduling, on the weekend. The Big Three is a tournament, for you guys do not know, for former basketball players who's trying to, get their exposure and just trying to stay in shape, you know what I mean? And have that fun, that love again, that taste of basketball. The Big Three, presented by Ice Cube. You've been traveling like crazy. I know last time we talked to you were in Orlando. So what you got? Where y'all up? Are y'all playing this weekend or what's going on with the Big Three?
Yeah, man. This week's games are out in Boston. I'm gonna fly out tomorrow. It should be very excitable, man, for me. Reuniting, back in with the Celtics in Boston. I think the real cool thing this season is that we're playing we're right back to playing in the NBA arenas. It just didn't feel right now being there. So getting a chance to go into the Garden and going to all these places just gives you kind of flashbacks and for myself and for some of the guys who maybe didn't play in the NBA, this is kind of a taste of the NBA. But you guys know it. I don't know if you ever had a chance to go and step on an NBA floor. It's always special whether you're playing or not. So I think it's really cool to be a part of and looking forward to this weekend. If you guys get a chance, make sure you just check out the Big Three, man. But this is at a time where we starving for basketball, so get a little bit of a fix.
Yes, sir. Oh, I think somebody said you got a little static, Ryan.
Not sure. I can play around with these earbuds if you guys want, or let me know whatever you think. Do you guys hear static from my end?
Yeah, I hear a little static. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Because I know that might be annoying. We'll be on here for a while. Let me see if I can. Hold on.
Yes, sir. Hit the like button as y'all come in, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit the share, the subscribe.
How's that sound right? How's that sound right now? It's about the
Still
same.
A little staticky.
Let me switch the earbud. Sometimes these earbuds.
Oh, that's better. Say something.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
A little bit.
A little bit, but I mean it's doable. Like I can hear him.
Yeah, we good. All right. So you got the Big Three in Boston, and is it just like so the Big Three? Like, how many games y'all play during the season, and then when does the playoffs kick off? Where the playoffs gonna be at, and is the Big Three different? How is it different playing in the league? Like, do you enjoy playing in the Big Three more or in the league, or is it different? Kind of walk us through that.
No. Don't make any mistake. Playing in the NBA is still where it's at. I wouldn't sacrifice that. But I think for myself, where I am in my life, playing in front of a crowd with fans watching and competing in basketball, it's like a drug, man. I don't smoke or drink, so hearing the crowd noise, that's definitely addicting, and it's fun, and it's having a blast, man. And then doing it one night a week. In terms of, how would I say, the playoffs, I think now it's kind of do or die. So I think the way he's got it set up is where, I think two teams will kind of start getting eliminated per weekend. So he'll kind of trim down, and then the champion. So it ends up almost being like football, man. You got everybody 2-3 or 3-3 or 3-2, so it's really competitive. So each and every game ends up mattering. So I think the goal, as we come in and prepare, is just go win each week, and then you'll be fine.
Okay. All right, Rick, I'll let you take the next part. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you want to ask about Ryan, what's he been up to?
Oh yeah, man. So my question to you, Ryan, of course, and I appreciate you being on the show, by the way. Now I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. We gonna hit the Rockets real fast, man. And so with the Houston Rockets, I know you watch them, I know you cover them. My first question is, man, what do you see this coming season for the Rockets, man? Of course, we got Amon Thompson, or Amen. I'm still working on his first name. I'm so used to saying Amen. But we got Amon Thompson. Like, the brother looks ferocious. He looked like he ready to go. I don't know if you've seen him like in practice or anything yet, or whatever the case, spoken to him. But what do you think with that new, acquisition of him? Like, how it's going to help the team overall, and where do you see the Rockets themselves going? Like, how far can they go this season?
Yeah, I think you had it right the first time, Amen Thompson. It's going to be a completely different gear for the Rockets. Last year was really, probably the last 3 years, was go out and develop and, get up a bunch of shots and kind of, go out and make mistakes that you normally wouldn't be able to make in the NBA. Now this year is come out and compete to win. So you're going to see a lot of our young guys in their third year taking that next step development-wise. Ime Udoka is the head coach now, and you saw the success, his first year making it out to the NBA Finals. So I think the team as a whole has gotten older, and then you brought some veterans along, and I think that's the real cool thing, where these guys are going to be in game. So I think it's fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch. The biggest thing is getting a point guard, getting a floor leader and going out and getting those guys. So you got a mix of young talent, you got veterans, and then you got a coach that's going to hold these guys accountable. So I think it should be definitely a fun season. So I think the goal right now is to see the Rockets be competitive. And, the way the NBA is, you go out and compete, you play hard, and you got some young talent. I think the sky's the limit. So I think that the best part, I think, is coming into this season kind of with no expectations, but knowing that the team is going to, be able to play hard and compete night in and night out, because you got to think the team would be winning or would be in close in games last year, and then they lose by, a turnover or a missed free throw or something. So you share that up, man. That's about 10 points on the board, and that's the difference between, 10 to 15, maybe even 20 games, on paper, on top of these guys, getting better already than what they are, man. So I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to get into the season, and unfortunately, I haven't seen the guys up close. I've kind of seen what everybody's seen, kind of in the draft and the summer league, but I'm ecstatic.
Okay. And so, like, I was talking to BJ. I don't know if this was last week, BJ, but I think the Rockets came up in a discussion where it's like, where do we see certain teams falling, during the season, how far they can go. And BJ, I kind of forgot where you landed them. I think, I don't know if as far as our fans, of course, and then you, I don't know exactly what you said because I was listening to everybody, but like, do you see the Rockets like making it to the playoffs, play in? If you do see them making it to the playoffs, you think they get past the first round? The reason why I ask is because, man, I'm looking at them and I'm like, I feel like it's going to be one of those teams where if you're not careful, they may surprise you. They may mess around and surprise you because it's like they look fast paced. Like you just said, they got Udoka on the squad. So we know his coaching ability is just fabulous. We know he can get things going. And I'm just like, this might be a little recipe that that we probably not really paying attention to unless they're like you, of course, that actually cover them. And so it's like, do you see them, going, first round, second round, playing? Like what's the ceiling? I know you said sky's the limit. Well, personally, how far do you see them actually going? I'm thinking first round, and then of course, if they just by the season how they're playing, I could even see the second round if they really playing well together. Like, what do you think? Because I know you watch them.
Yeah, I think it'll be fair with the acquisitions, barring injury, to say at least worst case make it to the play-in. But I think to be realistic in the Western Conference, man, it's thick. You got to think as soon as they had the play-in tournament, that was the Lakers in the play-in. That was the Golden State Warriors in the play-in. Those teams, the Sacramento Kings bumped up, so now they bumping somebody out. Hey, the Dallas Mavericks missed the playoffs last year, so just to get into the playoffs in the West is a tall task. So I don't want to overblow that, and I want to say this is as competitive and as deep as we've seen the West in a long time. I'm gonna repeat again. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving missed the playoffs. Okay? So I think it's going to take a lot just to get into the playoffs. And I think you just get in the mix, you play hard, and you see what happens. And I think the goal towards the end of the season is just get hot, man. Play your best basketball late. But I don't think it will be fair of me to kind of put them in a second or a third round or something like that, man. Hey, Minnesota, didn't make the playoffs, and that's a really good young team that's coming right back, So, or excuse me, they did make the playoffs. They did make the playoffs, and it was tight. So, I think it would be fair to me just to throw them in the mix, but I think this is a group that's competitive enough if everything goes right to make it into the playoffs. And I tell you, man, H-Town would be ecstatic just to see that. So I'm excited to see what they can do moving forward. But I think just the playing team, man, H-Town gonna go off. I tell you that much. And then I think you just put yourself in a situation where anything can happen, man. Anything, just go hoop, and just see what goes on from there. But I will say the biggest difference is it's not a development year. This is a year to go out and compete. And I think the fans and the association, I think the league should be on notice.
All right, B Jizzle.
Let's talk a little bit more about the Rockets, and I'm gonna jump into another subject before we bring people in. And shout out to the guests, the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button. We got our guy Ryan Hollins on, former NBA player, current analyst, color commentator for the Houston Rockets. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. But Ryan, so who are some of the players on the Rockets are you really excited about seeing? Because we got Fred VanVleet, the new addition. You got KPJ, Jalen Green seem like they've been working out hard in the offseason. They got Saric, the big guy for the on the Houston Rockets. Who are you really looking forward to watching this year, and who do you think is going to be the X factor on the Rockets for this season?
I know this sounds crazy, but the whole team, dude. When you have young guys, they go out and then they get better in the offseason. Like they take these huge jumps. So you got from Jalen, Şengün. I'm going to pull it up right now. Jalen Green, must see. TV, okay. Alpine Şengün, they said he grew in the offseason. Jabari Smith Jr. went ape. He went bananas in Summer League. Put on some weight, hit some big shots. Kevin Porter Jr. coming in the situation where he can play on and off ball. That's dangerous. Amen Thompson, just get out there, play, defend, be chaotic. Cam Whitmore, still at the draft. That boy went wild in Summer League, okay? Fred VanVleet is a winner, championship experience, so he's going to be, hey, man, how does he mess with these young guys? Can he get them in the right spot? A lot of times the Rockets would turn the ball over. Fred VanVleet's going to take care of the basketball. And in the games where you're losing by 5 or 6 points, those turnovers kill you. Dylan Brooks, dog, and motivated. He's going to be one to show everybody who he is. Tari Eason got better, looked like he was stronger, finishing at the rim better. Jayshawn Tate, dog. Jeff Green, world champion. Okay, Jack Landale, solid big, veteran. Aaron Holiday, dog defensively. So I think the biggest thing is if Coach Udoka can get this team defending and running, it's scary, man. it's scary. I think it's just there's so many unknowns in this equation, if that makes sense. So I just want to see how these guys develop.
Yeah, I forgot about they got Jeff Green too, and I didn't mention Dylan Brooks. I know they got Dylan Brooks on that 4-year deal, but Jeff Green is that locker room presence that I think Houston gonna really need. Because I remember watching them in person when they played the Warriors last year, and they got offense that they can score with anybody. Offensively, they can score, but I think they need to just learn how to actually play basketball, and that's just because they're so young. But it's like you got to have some vets in that locker room. I think Fred VanVleet, Jeff Green, Jack Londale are all good pieces for that group. And I think they'll allow Jeff Green or they'll allow Jalen Green and KPJ to kind of be the guys on offense and do their thing. But I'm real interested to see how Dylan Brooks handles the team as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, man, it's going to be fun to watch, but I think those guys, I hope they're angry. I hope they're upset. I hope they got a chip on their shoulder. For me, it's going to be fun to watch, but I think if this team can defend, that'll be big.
Mm. Okay. And one more question. So we're going to, after we cover this topic, we're going on like a little commercial break, then we're going to come back. But what do you see right now as far as, I'm going to jump back to the commentating part. Do you think that it's harder to be more into the analyst job or being an NBA player? Which one you think is more challenging, or is it in different ways? Which one you think is more challenging for you?
NBA player is much more challenging because in the sense of, you have to perform or else you're not going to be in the league. The whole world is trying to take your job. BJ, if you had a chance to play in the NBA, would you take it?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
No doubt, right? No doubt, right? So you got to think everybody would take your job, bro. Everybody, if you go into a gym across America, across the world, those guys would take your job. So there's definitely more pressure as a player. And I would say as an analyst, the biggest key is like, it's not about me. My job is to point to how well those guys are playing. So, it's funny, like my first season, the team went on a winning streak. And everybody was like, man, you got so much better. You guys have chemistry. You guys are just rolling as a broadcast team. And it was like, no, we're not. They're winning. So you enjoy what's going on. And everything is much more delightful. So our success is the team's success. We're here for them. We're here to serve those young men and just try to do as much as we can to point to, the great job that they're doing and the hard work that they put in. So I would say as an analyst, I understand it's not about me. So, those guys have to do the heavy lifting. It's just on me to kind of just point to the positive things that they're doing, and, it is a blessing to have been able to play so I can understand, the nuances of the game or, hey, man, a guy dives on a loose ball, ends up being a 4-point swing to point out the hard work that those guys put in. So that's just really my job, is to point to what they're doing, man, and the little things, and just help the viewers have fun and enjoy watching and know what they're looking at.
All right. You got something else to say, Rick, before we go to commercial break?
Oh, no, man. Keep it rolling.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little 2-minute commercial break. I'm going to play a little commercial. Y'all go get yourself some water or something, get a snack. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, and we're going to bring the panel in for Ryan. Remember, if you have your membership badge, you guys can come here and talk to Ryan, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, y'all can ask questions in the comment section. So we're going to go on a little 2-minute break, and we'll be right back, all right? Here we go. All right, y'all. So you guys have not already, man, get y'all membership badges that are available right now. As you guys come in here, hit that like button. We got over 20 people in the chat right now. So we should see over 20 likes at this point. Smash that like button as y'all come in, as well as get your membership badges. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have any trouble, make sure you guys let us know in the comment section or hit us up on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and we can get y'all set up. I'll drop the link for you guys want to come in and you guys have a question for Ryan or a comment y'all want to, talk about Ryan for, we can go and let y'all in. But we got one question from our man AJ in the chat. He said, Ryan, do you have OKC making the playoffs? If so, who fall out? I think they will. With making the play last year on their wings they have.
Man, OKC is that scary team because they were right in the mix last year, and the cupboard was as bare as can be. They were trying to lose games again, and then they were so well coached that they were in the thick of things, man. They were actually in the playoff scenario. So I think who falls off, I think it will be just a matter of health. If a team is not healthy at the right time, I think that's who's be missing. And with so many stars now in the NBA, it seems like every team down there has 2 or 3 stars or guys who can go out and get you 20 or 30 points a night. So I would say it would be a matter of health. But OKC is just dangerous because Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, man, he was like at the tail end of MVP voting. Like the way that he played in the last season, man, he just becomes so tough to match up with. And those guys are a year older, man. They're well coached. They spread you out. They got a lot of big guards. They can switch a bunch. So if you play around with them, man, they could beat anybody. They put hands on Boston. They put hands on the Lakers, man. OKC is just really one of those tough teams because Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I think he scored at the highest clip in isolation last year, or he was right up there, at least top 3. So, man, they are tough to play against. But when you have a guard that can finish or just plays one-on-one well, and they move the basketball, man, OKC is a nightmare, dude. That's the team you don't want to see.
Yeah. Rick, why don't you pick the next one? I think Hope had a question.
You said Hope. Oh, she said, how do you feel about the in-season tournament? So I'm sure she's talking about the play-in. So me personally, before you even answer, I think the play-in was probably one of the greatest ideas. It makes those 10th and 9th spots, like all those cats, more competitive. And if you sitting at 7 and 8, you can't just be chilling. So how do you feel about the play-in tournament, that new addition to the NBA?
I think you're right on point. That was kind of the answer to load management with the play-in tournament, but there's actually an in-season tournament. So what they're going to do is they're going to tally up the games as far as an in-season tournament. So like, let's say now when, the Jazz and, the Lakers play per se, that will count as some of the in-season tournament. I think it's kind of TBD where if you have your star player, why would he want to go out and play an extra game? But you guys know players are so competitive when we say, hey, this game means something, or ESPN is going to come cover this first round of the game. Like, for instance, there were no national games for the Rockets last year. But maybe if you know that one of these games is an in-season tournament play, you may build some hype about it around it. So I think it'll be fun to watch. I think, like, let's say, per se, you're like LeBron James. I don't want an in-season championship. That doesn't do anything for me. So I don't know if that incentive will be great enough because the key is like hey, are the Durant's going to get up for it? Are the Jokic's going to want to play? Or it would be a situation where, hey, I'm sorry, if I'm Denver and I got Jokic in this in-season tournament, maybe frowned upon, but I sit him. I don't want him to play one extra game that he don't need to play already, especially if he's a little banged up or so. So I think it's good to experiment with. It's something that we've seen work overseas. But I think it'll be intriguing. But I think it brings a spice to the game. And I say, hey, man, why not? I'm definitely here for it. But I think there's something to build upon. And I'm just as intrigued as everybody else to see how it's going to work. Because when we heard the playing games, we're like, man, what is that? And now we kind of like, okay, those games are more popping in the playoffs sometimes. Like, you got guys going at it. And then Miami Heat was a playing team, messed around and made the finals. So, it's a nice little spice, man. I think it overachieved to any expectations that we've had. So hats off to the commissioner.
Absolutely.
Right.
I got one more question, BJ. I got one more question. I'll pass it back to you. And then
Yeah.
now, I already know you know that Chris Paul is heading to the Warriors, Ryan. Like, how do you see that fit? How do you see, Chris Paul, with Steph Curry and them boys, man? Like, how do you see that going? Me, like with me, I'm kind of thinking and hoping he kind of can help that second group, but I mean, he's been starting his whole career, you know what I mean? So we don't know what's gonna happen, but what's your thoughts on that? With Chris Paul heading to the Warriors, how do you think he'll help that team out?
I think it's all about Steph Curry. You got a situation where I don't think they'll be able to defend you, but their mindset was, hey, Jordan Poole wasn't great on defense, so instead of his scoring, we get, Chris Paul's leadership. And I say it's pretty much all about Steph Curry because now Steph Curry doesn't have to take the load that he's always had of do I score, do I facilitate and get guys the basketball? So he can just go out and try to get his 50. And he's dangerous, man, because this is the first time he'll have been relieved. So I think maybe the Warriors know something that we don't know. And if you can unleash Steph and say, man, go get you a scoring title, go ahead and just be a bucket. I think that's dangerous for the league because he's always had to make decisions. And I think honestly, Rick, um, we're probably not going to see their full lineup not too many times, maybe 20 or so times during the whole year. So I think it's also a play where, Chris Paul by himself can lead a team to a victory. So let's say Chris Paul accounts for 5 to 10 games that maybe you couldn't get with Steph Curry sitting out or, Clay sitting out. It's going to be intrigued to see. But those guys that have a championship pedigree, and, I played with Chris, so I think it'll be a fun move to say the least, and I think this is probably the least that Chris has maybe been needed. They need him, but it's not like, man, like when Chris Paul went out, the Suns were just devastated, but I think this is a group that can still roll even if Chris isn't there. So I think you take the pressure off him at the right time in his career where he doesn't have to do a whole bunch.
Back at you,
Okay.
BJ.
I'm gonna ask one more question, and we're gonna let Tune in Sports. He's about to come in as a guest. But Ryan, so what is your true thoughts on Chris Paul as a teammate on and off the court? Because I'm be honest, Chris Paul, like as great as he is, man, I would hate to play against him. He's like that pest on both ends. Like he used to be a great defensive player, but on offense, he's just so his IQ's on another level. Um, what was your take on Chris Paul as a teammate? Do you have any stories with him, or do you have anything that people might not know about him? What's your feelings about Chris Paul?
I think what a lot of people don't realize is how competitive Chris is. And it's not just in the games, it's in the locker room. It's all the time. He's just eating, sleeping, and breathing basketball. Um, I'm sure he's thinking of ways that he can be successful. He's probably watching film on Steph Curry. He's watching these guys and seeing how he can step in and play and do his best. But I think that Chris has definitely developed as a person through the years, and I think he's accepted, how his roles have changed, and that's the biggest thing. If you want longevity, he's always evolved with what's needed for him. Just unfortunately, his mind was there, but his body hadn't been, in big playoff moments. So I think Chris is going to surprise some people. I think the biggest key is health. But like I said, what's dangerous is you're not asking the same load from him. But man, he takes those losses, man. When we lost in the playoffs, he took them personal, man. The dude does not like losing at all, and I think he knows, man, he's giving it his all trying to make these title runs. So I'm intrigued to see what Golden State can do. And I think the challenge for them is if they can defend, they got the IQ to score enough points, But I think how is this going to, the biggest question is how defensively, if you have Chris Paul and Curry on the floor at the same time, how are they going to be able to play and defend against teams, But I think just from an IQ standpoint, man, they just might be outsmarting the whole league, man. That may be some really fun basketball to watch.
Yes, sir, definitely. I can't wait. Pagan 180 says,
Dina,
salute everybody. Pasadena, stand up.
Dina in the house. What's up, Dina? City of
What's
Roses.
good? What's good, Tune in Sports, man? What's good with you, bro?
What's good, BJ, Rick, man? Appreciate y'all for having me on, man. What's going on with y'all?
What's good, brother?
Um, salute, Ryan.
Appreciate it,
Um,
man. Appreciate
good,
it.
good speak with you again, man. I had last time I spoke to you on here. I had asked you about my Cavs, man. I had asked you like what we needed to do to like compete for a championship, and you had told me basically like Evan Mobley needed to like extend his range more, and so far you've been right because if you saw how the first round went against the Knicks, it didn't go well. We didn't have great spacing at all, and it's kind of hard to play two bigs who can't shoot, for that long. Like you have to rotate them out, so like that series was pretty tough to watch. But like my question to you, like is like if you the Cavs or if you the head coach JB or whatever, how would you use Evan Mobley and make sure you get the best from him this season? Because Donovan and Darius, they the best players on the team, of course, best players on the floor. But do you think that Darius need to take a step back and Mobley become like the number two, and Darius does what he does and facilitate and all that good stuff?
I think Darius can take a step back. I think he has a type of game where he wants to feed his bigs. When he's on the floor, those guys play well. He's kind of the engine that kind of gives up. He's playing that Memphis Mike Conley role, so to speak. But I think for Mobley, his scoring, he's going to have to be effective. He's going to have to, be physically stronger. I think this is now when you maybe go from potential to, hey, we expect you to be in a 17 to 20 point range. So maybe it's not the three ball, but he's going to have to go out and get busy on the block. He's going to have to be effective. He's going to have to add some strength so that he can get to the foul line rather than getting pushed off the spot. But I'm excited to see what this third year leap looks like for him. If he adds that strength, if he, improves upon his scoring. When I saw him, he got a little stronger, got a little bit meaner. And if he can continue making those strides, man, he's scary. He's a guy that can be right behind Nikola Jokic for the best big in the league with his type of talent. So I think the sky's the limit, but I think that team again goes as far as he takes them. So I think it may not be the spacing, but I think he's going to have to be able to score and then also, defend the paint so that maybe there may be situations where Jared Allen may have to sit on the bench. But I thought it was intriguing. I'm sure you saw the news this offseason that, teams inquired, hey, let me get Jared Allen, man. Why don't you come off him? Maybe you guys don't want those two bigs playing together. The Cavaliers were like, no way, not a chance. He goes nowhere. So I thought that was really intriguing to see. And I think having him in the lineup will be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because Allen, he's part of the reason why we had the number one defense. He's part of our defensive identity. So I don't think you give a Jared Allen and basically get back is it worth what you getting back. So yeah, I'm glad we didn't trade Jared Allen. And I have one more question, and then I'm gonna let somebody else come up. So I don't think your stance changed on this at all. I think you said LeBron is the GOAT, right? So I believe LeBron. I believe LeBron is a goat. I think Jordan is the goat of goats, but I believe LeBron is a goat. I hate to go back like on old stuff, but my guy LeBron, man, he be getting a lot of slick shots, man. A lot of Warriors fans and everybody be coming at LeBron. Shout out to Hope and Bruce, but some of them been talking about how like Curry is like over LeBron, like Curry's a better leader. Silly stuff like Curry, like Curry and company ain't blow a 3-1 lead to LeBron. They didn't go recruit arguably the best player that was considered to be the best player in the world at the time. And then Braun goes out west and he beats Curry twice in the postseason. I'm counting the playing, by the way. At the age he's doing it. So Ryan, basically I'm saying can you please tell these people that Curry has not surpassed LeBron James, or do you think he can surpass LeBron? Because Curry is still, has some time. So do you think Curry can pass LeBron?
I think I think it would be tough because that's not kind of Curry's mindset. Steph kind of does what's needed, and I think we've seen LeBron in situations where he's been the guy and he's taken over. But Curry's teams have had more success. Um, I think for him to, I don't believe in ever saying never, but it would be hard this late in his career to kind of, for him to ramp up. But I will say, if with the addition of Chris Paul, he can really score the basketball. I think he can do it then. I think Curry's challenging to be the greatest point guard to have ever played the game. I think those are the questions that arise with him. And I think LeBron is challenging Michael Jordan with the type of success that he's had. But it's definitely different levels of success. But I don't think anybody can argue that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter by a mile that we've ever seen play the game. So I think for him, he's solidified in that. But I think he knows there's certain, limitations with what he can do, But I don't think you can do anything but respect Steph Curry and what he brings to the table. But I think it's kind of hard to compare those two. And I think, like I said, he'll be kind of chasing Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson. But comparing him with LeBron is definitely a whole lot tougher, because you also think Golden State has had such great chemistry and the same players and the same guys there. So it's hard to compare with LeBron, who, even though he chose to, was moving teams and had different coaches and different situations. It's not like him and Anthony Davis were like drafted together and those guys kind of, came into their own. They had to be paired up.
Absolutely,
Guys
man.
kind of, came into their own.
Thank you for taking the time to answer my question, man. I appreciate you, Rick and BJ. Appreciate y'all.
I appreciate
Man,
great
no
work,
doubt,
man.
no doubt. As y'all come in, man, hit that like button, man. That was my man, Tune In Sports. Go follow him on his platform, Tune In Sports on YouTube. Cavs fan, but also NBA savant, man. Great content over there. We got a few questions in the chat. If y'all have y'all membership badges, hit that link so you guys can ask Ryan a question in person, like Tune In Sports. Big fan Breezy had a question. He said, Ryan, who do you think is the best player from your draft?
Best player for my draft. I think Rondo probably has the most championships. Marcus Aldridge was up there. I have to go, man. My draft, I guess maybe some say we're a little slim. Let me think. It might be Rondo, man. Honestly, Rondo or LaMarcus Aldridge. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. Brandon Roy, I think, was the best player. Okay. Rondo had the most success. And I think I'll go there. Most success is the Rondo, and the best player was Brandon Roy. Obviously with his injury, the sky was gonna be the limit for B. Roy, man. That dude was different,
Brandon
man.
Roy.
He had no weaknesses, man.
Brandon Roy that dude was unbelievable. He can shoot mid-range, get to the basket. He was under control. He was an offensive savant, man. Hey, Rick, why don't you pick a question out the chat, man?
I got you, man. So I saw a question. Let me go back up because it went down here. Go right on back up here. Pagan 180, Ryan said, how does Okoro fit into the Cavs plan, into their system? How do you think he'll fit into their system?
Man, Okoro's a huge part of what they do. He's the athlete. He's the defender. He's the guy. And when you got a guy who can go out and guard the NBA's best, night in and night out basis, he's knocking down corner threes, man. That guy's dangerous. He's almost there. He's like their Spurs Kawhi Leonard, if that makes sense. Remember Kawhi on the Spurs, kind of hitting corner threes, locking up the other team's best player, dunking. So I think he's that Spurs Kawhi, not Toronto Kawhi, but Spurs Kawhi Leonard, where you go, man, that he's a real X factor with what he brings to the table.
And then my question, I was thinking about it. That the Suns, they acquired Bill, of course. So they got a little team and they got Bowl. So how do you see that team as a whole? Because you already know the roster over there. They got the superstar roster. I mean, how do you think that's going to play out? I mean, granted, we've seen over NBA history that there's been, super teams and great, players playing together for years. But like, in your opinion, how do you see them panning out throughout the season?
I think the question for the Suns is chemistry and health. Unfortunately, I don't think we see those three play together a bunch in the season until kind of the playoffs. But I think they're going to have to find a way to get chemistry. And then, hey, the big question is, okay, you're going to put Bradley Beal on the ball. Will Bradley Beal be effective, or will he be sacrificing too much of his game, knowing that he has Booker on one side and KD on the other side? But as far as matchup-wise, that's going to be a tough guard. So I think if you're the focus for the Suns and Frank Vogel is getting out and getting early, easy looks. you want to get as many easy looks as you can, because then you're not boggled down with the problems of, all right, who takes the shot, who gets the ball, and then you got superstars playing different ways than they played before in their career. So um, it's a whole lot different, man. It'll be different to see, but I think the answer is chemistry with the Suns. But talent-wise, I take them over anybody. But what they have, I think you'd be foolish not to, but will that actually work together?
All right, B Jizzle. I think Bruce is in here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As y'all coming in here, man, got more people, 20, I think 22 people in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Let's get the notifications out there, man. Hit that like button. My man Bruce, man, welcome to the show, brother.
Good evening, gentlemen. Rick, BJ, Mr. Hollins. How you guys doing?
Evening.
All right. I have a questions about the Rockets, but I don't want to get you in trouble. So I don't know if I should ask it. So you guys drafted a lot of forwards. So you guys draft Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore, and you already have forwards on the team. And you have Jason Tate or Terry Eason. So, and the vets that you brought, some of them, I mean, one of them is a knockerhead, in my opinion. I know you cannot say that, but in Dylan Brooks. But do you think the team is gonna mesh together? Like with I see a lot of youth on the team, and do you think that's too much talent, or that's enough talent for the Rockets to compete? Because Jeff Green is like, I think the Rockets probably brought him to be a vet or something to teach. And I don't know, do you guys have enough talent to compete in the really crowded West?
I think the talent is there. I think they're going to have to establish culture. And I think as far as Imo Udoka's understanding is, he wants a team that can defend. And the value in today's NBA and having multiple forwards is because they can all play at the same time. They can switch. And if you think about the best teams, they've got a lot of size. Fred VanVleet is a natural floor manager. So I think the cool thing about him is that he don't need to score a point to be effective, but he also is smart enough to where if you have him in that situation, you don't take away from his game, because he'll step up in a major way in the clutch and hit a big shot for you. He's not, some guys have to score their 20 to be effective. I think he can work without scoring. But I think to answer your question is, can the team defend? Can they defend? How's that going to work? And I do think there's a lot of talent there, man. Cam Whitmore was in running to be one of the top players in the whole draft. He was in consideration for that 4th or 5th pick. He was considered that high. You saw him play well at Summer League. So I think the challenge is going to be defensively, bringing in toughness. I think you want Dylan Brooks to be Dylan Brooks and kind of be that emotional leader there. And I think if they can do that and they can switch and pressure the basketball, this could be something to put together. But the team was arguably, if not last, one of the last teams in the NBA on the defensive side of the floor. So improving defensively puts you right there. I don't want to say in the mix, but improves your chances immensely. So I think, like you said, culture is going to be stated. I don't panic by having a lot of size, but I think if this team can defend, they're going to give themselves a chance.
Okay. Another question that I want your perspective, your opinion. Do you think the Clippers can get it done with their roster, or is this the last year with Kawhi PG experience?
I think they're far from being in their last year, unless if Kawhi, for injury reasons, just can't play anymore. But I think the challenge with that team, we all know they probably had one of the more deeper rosters in the NBA, but it's just a matter of them being healthy. If they're not healthy, we can't even put them in those conversations. They actually miss not just Kawhi, but Paul George also. So those guys got to be able to play when you need them. So whatever the strategy is, I think those are the frustrations that, man, you kind of don't play the whole season, and then when we need you to play, the body's just not able. So hopefully we'll see those guys on the floor. I think the NBA is always better when you see stars playing.
So do you think that the Clippers gonna get James Harden?
That's intriguing. I think that's more so up to Philadelphia. I don't think Philadelphia is liking the packages right now that are being sent over. So I think that'll be intriguing to look forward to. You're going to see, hey, what does Philadelphia do? Because James Harden doesn't want to be there anymore. I think that's just kind of part of today's NBA. So I think it's intriguing to see what goes on, and hey, what would a team be willing to give up? But I think this will be a completely different conversation if James Harden was there, and back in LA, and that kind of star power put together.
All right. Thank you. Those were all my questions. I was going to ask about James Harden to the Rockets, but I don't want you to get in trouble. All right. Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bruce crazy. Man. As y'all come in here, man, hit the like button, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Appreciate people that's coming in. Leave your questions and comments inside the chat. There was one comment that caught my eye, Ryan. I wanted to touch on. KJ Martin is actually on the Clippers now. So, what's your thoughts about the Rockets losing him? Because we got everybody that they got in the at free agency, but you also got to look at who they lost. So KJ Martin was one of the pieces that they did lose. So how do you feel about the Rockets losing them, and how do you feel like he fits with the Clippers?
That's tough. Losing KJ was huge. I hope this works out for both sides. I think hopefully he gets into a situation. I just think they probably couldn't pay all the guys. So hopefully the Clippers go forward and offer him a lot of money. I think they definitely needed a lot of youth and talent to kind of bolster them over there and get up and down. And KJ Martin's reliable, man. I don't know if he played all 82, but I know he was pretty darn close. But I think, man, he's going to have a chance to go out and show out with the Clippers this year. But the Rockets are really going to miss him. But then you look and you go, you had to get Jabari minutes. You had to probably get Tari some more minutes. You got Cam Whitmore out there. Like, Amen Thompson's going to play minutes. So I think it was just tough. But he was just too darn good not to play, man. So hopefully he can go. I think that the Clippers really need him. And, man, he could be one of the big surprises of the season, man. He's really – really good, and I just think it was just too much talent in Houston at that spot,
Yeah, Houston, because even the people they picked up like 5 people in free agency, and I think KJ averaged like 12 points this season with the Rockets.
He was so good, man. He did a lot of little things, man. I think you can almost see him and Russell Westbrook just running a fast break back up. That might be fun to watch, man. So I'm actually, if you guys want to have like a guy to like look at that don't nobody really like know about or they're not sure on, I think people are kind of forgetting about that KJ Martin move to the Clippers. I think that could be some like prime, and then he's in a situation where PG and Kawhi might not play a bunch of games, so he's gonna get all the minutes he wants, man. So that's intriguing. To you fantasy basketball players, that might be a little sneaky swerve pickup right there. Getting KJ Martin.
For sure. All right, Rick, you got it.
Man, so I mean, we already know. Hold on, let me say, did Ron touch on 7-footer Victor is pop rejuvenated? Victor. Oh, okay, he talking about the Spurs, which that is a good little topic, man. So I mean, kind of touching on Pagan, I kind of use his question here. He said, did Ryan touch on the 7-footer? So, of course, he talking about Victor, the acquisition of Victor. They, picked him up with the Spurs. I mean, I want to hear your opinion, man. Like, what do you think that Victor can bring and what he can do for that organization? Because granted, we got all-star, legends that play for that team that obviously look like they're there for Victor. Pop is obviously behind him. I mean, where do you see Victor taking that team, man? Like, do you think he's gonna be, superstar? I mean, granted, we got to watch him play, but I mean, just right off the bat, what can he bring to the San Antonio organization? Like, you see him going far, or he gonna take some years? What you think?
I think it is gonna take him some time, but the more that I watched him, I think he has it. He's really like that, man. He can do just about anything on the floor. But I like that he's a little more aggressive than I think he got credit for. Obviously, we all know that boy needs to put weight on, but he just can do things that we haven't seen. I think that was the perfect word. Did he rejuvenate Pop? Yeah. I think Pop was kind of thinking about retiring. How much longer would it make sense for him to kind of be doing what he's doing? But I think they have this Tim Duncan like nostalgia there in San Antonio. They welcome him in. He's an international player, and they're gonna roll out the red carpet of player development with him. So I'm intrigued to watch him play. But I like his aggression. He's got like a little bit of an edge to him, and I think the only challenge that may be hurdle as far as his greatness is just mentality. If he's going to be mentally tough, if that dude is mentally tough, he's gonna be everything that we've talked about because he has the skills. And people say, "Oh, well, we've seen it in Bobo. We've seen it in those guys." He's different than Bobo. He's different. He's different than these guys. He's a little more nimble. He's a little more nimble. You see him bring the ball up court. He's actually doing crossovers around guys that are literally about half his size. So I don't think right now he puts the Spurs in the thick of things clearly. But I think he's worth the hype, guys. I don't think they're over exaggerating. I think he's worth the hype. Trust me.
For sure, for sure. All right. See, like we got another person coming in. As y'all come in, man, hit the like button, hit the share, hit the subscribe. It's like we got one more person coming in. Let's see. Oh, okay. Hope, we got Mrs. Hope in the building. What's good, Hope?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. So I just want to know, out of all the top three in the draft, who do you think got the most pressure?
Well, first off, Hope, you represented for the ladies, so thank you for hanging out with us. I think that is absolutely probably the coolest thing we got going in here. Easily is Victor. Victor's name is compared with Tim Duncan, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. That first pick in the draft, you can't hide from the pressure. So we'll see how it is. I mean, the internet was ablaze when this dude just came off the plane. He flew from France to New York to San Antonio, and they was talking about him missing jump shots. He was training for that. So I think that pressure, anywhere he goes, man, the dude is going to be a megastar. He's going to be sought after. And if he can meet a fraction of the hype, man, they're going to be all over him. But you're always kind of looking for what's next. And right now, his name and his alignment is in alignment with the NBA's best. That's the hype that he has. So if he just meets a portion of that hype, he's going to be something special. But I think we saw him turn it on in Summer League, and he just made a couple plays where we're like, oh, that's different. But his mobility and agility is much different than anything we've seen at that size.
I think Hope hopped off.
Shout out Hope, man. Cool stuff there.
Oh, I think she hopped off.
Yeah, she hopped off. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if Hope, you get a chance to come back on, then you can come back on. So let me see if this is her again. 1 second. Yeah, this is Hope right here.
My bad, I got kicked off. My internet was
Hope, you there?
acting crazy. Can you hear me? My internet was acting crazy. I didn't hear anything he said, so I apologize.
Yes, he's worth the hype. That boy's gonna have Wemby's gonna have all the pressure on him in the world, man. Whether he does well, whether he does okay, whether he's so, he's gonna be breaking news. You're gonna be hearing about LeBron, KD. Shoot, we want to do breaking news order. I think it's gonna be LeBron and Wemby will be the news. Those will be those headliners. Okay, when we watch the NBA this season, obviously you're gonna hear about KD. You're gonna hear about Steph Curry and Chris Paul, but that headliner is gonna be Wemby. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He and LeBron.
I think he got to get some meat on his bones first, or he's gonna get dunked on every time in the paint.
Oh, absolutely. He's gonna have to get a whole lot stronger. But even within that, he's so long, man. He's so long that he's going to be able to bother shots, you know. But I think with Tim Duncan down there, I think they're going to be, man, you couldn't have any better of a mentor there. But he's definitely going to have to get a whole lot stronger. And make no mistake, with that height, he got a target on his back. You got the whole league going to be trying to make a name out of him. And I think that boy from Charlotte already dunked on him. So, you know, he might be dunked on a few times, but we'll see if he's tough enough to say, okay, you dunked on me, I'm going to dunk on you back. I think the question is, you know, we're going to look for how he responds, if that makes sense.
And this is my last question. I hope I don't get you in trouble by saying this, but what do you think about Jaylen Brown getting that 304 contract deal?
Man, for one, I love that you guys are cognitive of my workplace. That means a lot to me. Thank you guys. And Rick and BJ, that means you guys have some really educated listeners and fans here, you know, real hoop talk here. I love it. And I think what people have to understand is that anyone who gets the new Mega Max or what I forget, full max contract, full max is going to be the highest paid. Remember, Mike Conley for a while was the highest paid NBA player. So whoever gets it is going to be that. Damian Lillard was the highest paid NBA player, you know. So I think we just kind of overhype it for the headlines, but that's going to be normal, and that's deservedly so. You know, he's in his mid-20s. He went to the NBA Finals a year prior. You know, every team, you got to understand, has space for two max players. Okay, so every team is going to have two max players, but we know it's 29 teams, so we're talking how many guys, at least 30, 35, 40, 50 guys are going to have max contracts in the NBA. That's how the NBA is set up. So I don't think we can lose our mind when players get max contracts. And you're going to be seeing a couple more names going, wow, how did he get a max? Because that was the situation. That's what it made sense. And I challenge, and I want everybody to repeat this, what's the big thing we want to do here is educate. Stop challenging players on their money. If y'all knew the money that these owners were making, we can count players' money. You can't count owners' money. If you knew the money that the owners were making, you wouldn't be bugging out of these guys getting $300 million. Okay? We'd be like, oh man, that's pennies compared to what they're making and what he's bringing to the table. So I don't like that we question our own money. Those guys are a lot closer to us and those millionaires. So listen, Rick and BJ, imagine if you're the guy signing a $300 million check. How much money do you have? You know, when we pay a plumber, or we pay someone who does a service, or we pay our house mortgage, right? We pay a certain percentage of the money that we make. Imagine if you're wealthy enough in perspective to pay $300 million, a $300 million check. How much money are you making? But guess what? Obviously, the way things are set up, you see the players' numbers. So I think it's very valuable for us not to challenge the money that these guys are making.
All right. Thank you for answering my question. Have a
Thanks for
great
repping,
one.
man. Thanks for repping. Yeah, keep it up. Thank you.
Well, we got another one. What's good, man? Sean, what's good?
Fellas, what's good? Ryan, what's going on, man?
Yo.
Sean.
Can you hear me?
Yo, what's good?
What's good, fellas? How y'all doing? Ryan, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Hey, Ryan, let's spice it up, man. It's a lot of talking here. So, Ryan, let's go at it like this. Who's the toughest guard in the NBA when you was playing?
Man, I'll say the toughest guard in the NBA. Ooh. Are we counting shooting guard?
Toughest guy you had to be.
Oh, the toughest guy I had to guard?
Yeah.
I would say Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was one of the toughest guys I had to guard. Chris Bosh and Mark Gasol, those two were really hard for me to guard.
Yeah, Bosh was a dog. He don't get the respect he deserves. He played with so and so. He gets disrespected all the time. Oh,
yes.
So let's put it out here like this. Let's put you on the spot. So everybody healthy. I don't want to hear about the history of who's hurt, who's not hurt, who's gonna be hurt, who's not. I don't want to hear all that. Everybody healthy. Let's just say everybody gonna play all 82 games in the playoffs. Who's going to the finals?
I'm gonna say we'll see the Suns, and then we'll see Milwaukee. We'll see Milwaukee back in it.
Okay, so you think the Suns got enough defense over there with all that offense?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, chemistry. Chemistry. I think they have the talent. So if I match them up and their chemistry is right, because don't forget they got DeAndre Ayton too. If DeAndre Ayton plays the par, that team runs away with it. You know what I'm saying? But they got to figure out how to get him going. And I think that's something that's going to be their biggest challenge. It's not that big three. It's Ayton. If Ayton shows up like the big dog that he can be, that team is in a different type of running.
Yeah, eight can definitely hoop. The Bucks I can see you because you got to play on both ends of the court. I was surprised by the Suns pick. I just wanted to kind of see how you how you feeling because everybody's gonna come in here and ask the the safe questions. I just want to bring a little spice in here, spice it up a little bit.
I see you've been fooling with Rick a bit, man. Rick, you've been taking a page out of Rick's book.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Ryan, we appreciate you coming on. Appreciate your time. Rick, BJ, pleasure as always.
Man,
I got to get up early in the morning. I'm gonna get out of here, man.
Man, appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging, man. It's a privilege. Shoot, I don't care if it's 5 of us in here, man. Appreciate you guys taking the time, man. Nothing but love.
For sure, man.
Love. Rick, which you got it, Rick.
Is Dame Lillard to Miami the worst kept secret? Ryan ? Pagan 180. He said, "Is Dame Lillard to Miami the worst kept secret?"
I don't think it's a secret. I think it's inevitable. Dame has been very aggressive with his camp as far as saying, "Don't even try to send me anywhere else. I'm not playing with y'all." I think at the end of the day, the Trailblazers will have to respect him. But I think what they're trying to do is saying, like, Miami, come on, y'all gonna give up a little bit more than what we asking for. Y'all can't just leave our cupboard bare here. You know what we have here in Portland. So I think they're trying to do what's best for their organization. But I think at the end of the day, you got to grant the wishes to Damian Lillard for everything that he's done for them.
No, I was reading. Hope said, Ryan gonna have to give us all a huge shout out on NBA TV. Hope something else, man. Hope is something else, man.
Shout out Hope, man. That's cool, man. Listen, man, you got to repping for the ladies in here, man.
You know what I mean?
Is,
and
man.
She go hard, Ryan. She go hard. We really appreciate it. Shout out to Tay as well. But man, with Scoot Henderson, I saw him, practicing. I saw him training. Like, what do you think he's going to bring to the league? Me personally, I think that the boy is ready, man. I think the man is ready to go. I mean, he's already coming out with that fire. Kind of reminds me of a Russell Westbrook type in a sense. You know what I mean? Very energetic. But what are your thoughts on Scoot?
He's the most NBA ready. He'll probably be rookie of the year. I think it's going to take Wemby a little bit to be ready. But I think Scoot's kind of equipped. And obviously, if Lillard gets traded, he gets some more weapons in there. To go and average, about 17, 18 points and 8 or 9 assists a game. And I think him just being consistent will have him in that rookie year running. Now, we all know if Wemby's numbers are even a little bit less or comparable, you may give it to him. But I think Scoot is going to be more ready. Like, Scoot's ready now. He's the most ready now player that we see. I got you, Hope.
Oh, Hope crazy.
I got a question. So, and also we got like 5 women. I think Hope, Tay, Rhonda, and I think we have 2 other ladies that come on, in the chat, to actually talk. But I was surprised, Ryan, because I think what you think about Brandon Miller. How do you feel about him? Because I felt like he's the most polished, but he don't have the same dog as Scoot Henderson. So I think that's what's kind of like making him lean back a little bit. So we talked about Victor. We talked about Scoot. What's your feelings on Brandon Miller?
He could very well be in the mix, but I think we're going to see if LaMelo's healthy. Keep in mind, LaMelo can have that boy averaging, 18 to 20 points. LaMelo, people forget. I think a lot of people forget about what LaMelo Ball does, man. He changes tempo. He picks up pace. He plays fast. You saw what he did for Miles Bridges. So if that young boy is ready to catch and shoot and be ready, he gonna have himself a heck of a year, man. People forget about LaMelo Ball, man. So if he's healthy, that's night and day, man. That is huge.
Mm. Yeah, because LaMelo's kind of like, yeah, he deals with injuries, so he's kind of like in and out the mix too. Like, but he came in with Ja Morant. He came in with, that little class over there, but we ain't seen a lot of them because of injuries. Salute to my man, the realest man, coming in here. Salute BJ Rick, yes sir. Appreciate you coming in. Get those likes up, man. We should have over 20 likes right now, man. So let's get those likes up as y'all come in. My man Ryan Hollins in the building, former NBA player, current color commentator for the Houston Rockets. Let's ask another question, Ryan. So, let's go back to commentating. So, kind of walk us through, like, with your podcast, like, what would you say is kind of some advice you giving it to us, like me and Rick on the panel? Like, what are some, like, 3 things that you see that makes a good podcaster and what they, bringing out content?
For one, the biggest thing that you guys know, and Rick knows, I talked with him about this consistency. Your fans are looking for you guys to come back, every week, every night, whatever it may be, and you got to give the people what they want. I think you're hitting the NBA top stories when they happen. That's huge. And then I think just the more that we get experience, the more that we put in our 10,000 hours, we get more comfortable with it. You guys are already more comfortable than the first time we talked, and that just happens fast. So you start to know what to expect. And I think the one thing I say is just challenge yourself to listen to your podcast, listen to what you guys do, and then come back and get back to the drawing board and say, dang, did I really like what I said right there? Was I sharp enough? Did I intrigue people? And I think the one thing that's really cool is as far as the numbers, you can see your clips or your numbers that are good. So, hey, we put out this clip. It hit 1,000 views. This one hit 10,000 views. This one hit 50 views. This one hit 5 views. Everything is different. But you'll start to see, okay, what made this clip have success before this one? And I think you just go and you improve upon there. But I think you guys are doing it. You're on it. You're consistent. You're trying to bring on guests. You're digging into your resources. I mean, that's a big part of it, man. But like I said, first off, consistency. Get back to the table. Be your own worst critic. And then y'all boys hanging together trying to do this thing. And I can see the graphics, all that. So I think it's just staying with it, And like I always said, too, you can go and look around and see what other cats are doing. Okay, he doing that. This is, ain't no, how do I put it like this? I plagiarize. If you got a style I like, I'm going to try to implement it into my game. It's no different than we were kids and we saw our favorite player and went in the backyard and tried to emulate his moves. If you see a graphic that another guy, man, where he get that graphic from, how he do that, like, you're going to pick stuff up from other people. If you like it, implement it, use it, and then put your own flavor to it. That's just part of the game, and then build from there. So, stay on it, stay on it. Or if someone's having success, instead of you copying what they do, find out why they have success and how that works for you. Because as much as I want to be Rick or I want to be BJ, I can never be y'all, but maybe there's an element or something I can take from y'all, and then put your own spin to it,
That's real talk. And I'm gonna have Hope ask a question. I'm gonna give it back to Rick. Hope asked Ryan, have you ever been beat by a girl one-on-one?
Probably been a long time. And as far as being beat by a girl, maybe there was some incentive to that. Some incentives there. We all, listen, I don't care what you say. Rick and BJ don't play around with me. Every hooper wanted him a little loving basketball situation. Stop playing with me. We saw that movie. You had in your mind. You done seen a chick walk by and said we can have some loving basketball going on there. So listen, man, that was definitely every hooper's. I don't know if I say dream, but that was definitely a situation.
Right. That was definitely. I had this one girl. Her name was Crystal, but you remember Crystal, Rick, from high school?
Bro, Crystal was the female Kobe, bro. She was the female Kobe.
She one of them girls you gotta play a little hard against, because he had a strong lower body. She had good footwork. She can shoot the lights out. She had a nice crisp handle. She played like a dude. So it's like, and she was low key kind of strong. So it's like playing against her. Of course, I wasn't letting her win, but she had a couple few, what I'm saying, pull up J's in my face, and I'm like, bruh, there's a couple girls that gave me some problems. I ain't gonna lie.
Now, shout out to Lady Hoopers. Like, I put it like this. I definitely, played, especially at UCLA with the women's team. And they'll come out like a little cocky at first, like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you what's up," but like, you will have to turn it on. Like, don't play with the ladies. Like, you will mess around and get busted up. Like, don't just take it lightly. You gotta. I think that's respect to the lady hoopers. Any hooper, you have to show them what time it is, and then you can chill. But our ladies, just like anybody else, will go and try you and see if you weak. They're gonna let you know about it. And shoot, I had chicks, Nikki Blue, Noelle Quinn, Lisa Willis, they made it to the league. So I'm not talking about no regular chicks. Like, they made it to the league. So I had to kind of show them a little bit, hey, like, I can turn it on when need to be,
Right,
but
right,
you had to let them know, they gonna try you if you was weak.
right. No, that's facts. You can't. I can't lose to no girl. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
Nah, I was just gonna say, touching on what he said, like, no, them women, man, if you come in like acting like they, like, oh, I'm about to do easy work with you, nah, especially if they really hoop, like Ryan's saying, like if they really some hoopers, you got to come at them. And I remember when I was in the Army, playing on the Army team, on the Army base team, this one chick had the craziest handles, man. Had me jump to the left a little bit. I got so mad. I said, I'm about to shut it all down. I hit one of them LeBron blocks on it. Like, I did that little let it go past me, start charging up, bow. But this is what's crazy about that story, right? This is where I respected her. Even though I blocked her, right? She fell on the ground and everything. She was like, I like that. I like that. I was like, oh yeah, she for real. She for real.
Ooh. Hope said rings. So, yeah. I ain't got no rings, Hope.
You know what I'm saying?
She
talking about Curry.
She talking about her. She got 4 state championship rings.
Oh, she talking about it. Oh, okay. I'm about to say, because she loves some Steph Curry, man.
So, no. Some of my funnest moments hooping was playing with the women's team, and we'll go play against the guys, and we'll run the court, yo. Or like, there'd be a certain moment I just get out the way and let them cook, because every dude, it's not like, all right, if you're gonna win or you're gonna compete against the ladies, that's one thing. But like talking wild, a lot of dudes come out talking wild and get busted up. Mind you, what I said, the chicks I was playing with end up making the league, bro. End up making it the league. So they was tearing some of these dudes up, bro. Tearing them up, and I'm just sitting back laughing like, I got you. I don't even need to step in. Hope said, I got jewelry. I ain't got that, Hope. I don't even have one ring. Respect. For real.
He said, I ain't got one, yo. Hey, man. But you know what? Ryan, I want you to speak on, and I'm kind of thinking about Jimmy here, man. Jimmy Buckets, Miami Heat. How hard is it, Ryan? I mean, how hard is it in the NBA to even, make it to the finals, let alone but win one? Like, how tough is that, man? Like, I know players who made it, who won multiple, but like, just as an NBA player, man, like just walk us through, like, what is that? What do players think about? Like, what's going through their mind to even get to that level?
Rick, it was the hardest. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. My mind, body, and spirit had to be connected to that game. And then there was 15 of us that had to be connected the same way. I had to be in a specific spot on the court. Like I sacrificed my life to that game. My phone got shut off. I ate the same thing to eat. Like, you become a prisoner to it. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life because, like, I know all your moves. Like, that's why people get respect in the playoffs. If you can't guard somebody, you want to know why? Because we know all your moves and all your weaknesses. So if you go off in the playoffs, that means you have no weaknesses. If you ain't got no right hand, we sit on the right hand. You want to get double teamed in this spot, like you've gone over mathematically just about every single equation. So when them dudes go off in the playoffs, they about all that life. And that's why sometimes as an analyst, you guys will hear me say a lot of times from my own personal experience, I don't respect it till I see it in the playoffs. If he goes and gets busy in the playoffs or he does it at the championship level, then that respect is due. But that's where the LeBrons were made. That's where Giannis got certified. That's where Kawhi was certified. That's where these dudes make their name because it's like, bro, you've thrown every single coverage at them in the book and they succeeded. So that's where that big respect comes from, of like, nah, he legit. You got to be the best player in the world, man, literally to succeed at that level. But to answer in short, it was the hardest thing I had ever done in my life. You truly have to give yourself to the game.
And I can see that, man, because I mean, a lot of cats, when you just sitting around with family or friends or just people that love the sport like you, like just watching a game, or even if you're at the game, I mean, being hoopers, man, being lovers of the sport, you just got to realize, because I mean, a recreation game can almost feel like an intense tournament sometimes. So I can only imagine, being on that type of level where it's like you playing for an NBA title, like that's why, you mentioned something. You really don't have the respect for a player unless he can do it in the playoffs. So I think that's why, when I was watching Jimmy, man, he cooking my boy Giannis, and then he goes to the next round, he cooking. I'm just like, yo, even if he don't win, like, it's just like, you gotta respect that, man. Like, you gotta respect that team. You gotta respect Spoelstra. Like, it's just, it gotta be the craziest, like, difficulty setting of all times, because everybody want it. Everybody wants that chip, man. Everybody wants that ring. And then the segue into that, people who got multiple, like Curry, like LeBron, like Kawhi, like, it's just like, man, like, I wonder how crazy it gets. And then, Jordan, honestly, since I was alive to really watch him, I think he's the only player I've seen where he kind of make it look seamless, obviously. Like, he made it, even though he worked hard for it. But it's like, outside of him, it just looked like it's a grind, Ryan. It looked like it drives people crazy. You know what I mean?
It's the mental toughness.
Yeah.
The mental toughness, you got to be ready to make an adjustment on the fly. Like, it's the mental toughness. Like, it's crazy at that level. The game becomes so cerebral. It's mental toughness, bro. It's crazy. Like, I will have to run out and guard Dwayne Wade in the pick and roll. And if you are a hair late, you're fouling him. Like, there's so many, like, nuances, like, to the game, and, like, you got to, like, pick up on a play or a tendency or what's about to happen. It's ridiculous. It's the purest form of sport that you are going to find is playoff basketball, because there's so many little things that go on, and then you go watch hours of film. Then you go back and watch that film. Like, it was crazy, bro. Like, you don't understand the preparation that goes into it. Like, you got to be a real film junkie. Like, you're not just going out there hooping. You're watching literally every single movement. It's wild. There's nothing like playoff basketball, like I said. So that's why when those guys get their respect, they're on a whole nother planet, man. They're on a whole nother level.
Man. Tune in sports. How good of an asset will Dylan Brooks be for Houston under Coach Udoka? And he said another Pat Bev. He put LOL on that one.
Nah, for real, man. When you got somebody who can go out and harass and compete with the team's best player, and I hope the biggest thing that Dylan brings is culture. I think that he can kind of bring that energy, that toughness, that like what Marcus Smart was for Udoka, just blowing plays up, being physical, talking crazy, communicating, like little things. Like, I think the young guys will pick up on, where they'll understand it, you know. But I think once our young guys figure out defense, so there's like a leader there. You got a defensive and emotional leader. Like that's everything. Just getting somebody who believes. Like that sucker is confident, bro. He's confident. That's big. Like everybody knows that dude who hoops, who's confident and talking crazy. You're like, man, he's not even that good, but he's talking, he's confident, he's in it, and he's balling out. But he just believes in himself. That's the biggest thing, man. It's scary when you have guys believing.
Good points. Good points. Hey, y'all get them likes up, man. Let's get them likes up. If y'all just coming in, hit them likes up. Ryan Hollins, our guy, Ryan Hollins on the building. You know, NBA player and color commentator right now for the Houston Rockets is on the building. Before I let our next guest in, Bubba, in, I like how you said, Ryan, like we gotta stop counting other people's pockets, because I did a show on this the other day, and I said it's not how much you deserve, it's how much you can negotiate. As the agent, that's their responsibility for the player to negotiate the most money possible. No different from your regular job that you're going to get the highest salary. You're going to pick that one. You're not going to say, oh, do I deserve this money? You're going to be like, where do I sign? So I think it's good for players to make as much money as they can. Now, of course, you got to work for it, but these are all NBA players. They've worked their whole lives to, you know, get to this moment. So I like how you broke that down.
Absolutely, man. We don't count people's pockets, but don't get fooled by that. That boy Jaylen Brown about to go help so many people back at the crib or in his family or in his community. Y'all gotta love those moves.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Bubba, what's good, bro?
What up, BJ? What up, Rick? Salute, Ryan Hollins. A pleasure
Appreciate it,
again.
man.
Yeah. I mean, with the Jaylen Brown contract, I think it came at a worse time. And what I mean is, we all saw how terrible he was in the Game 7. So people are just focusing on that game and kind of, judging whether he deserves that money or not. But me personally, I think he deserves it. Because I'm not the one. Go ahead.
There's a misconception that the highest paid player needs to be the best player. No, every team can have two guys getting a max contract, right? But you hit it spot on saying that, well, he didn't play well in that series. Like, dog, he was, 25, 24 years old, averaging 25 points a game. You got to be kidding me, dog. Of course he's getting that money. He could close his eyes and sign that contract. Everybody knew that. That's or like the Dylan Brooks is going to China was ridiculous. Like some people get caught up in the wrong thing. You know how hard it is just to make the playoffs? There's somebody who didn't make the playoffs who's going to make $100 million. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I have a couple questions here. My first question is, like, what's your standard? What's your bar for a top 5 player? And who are your top 5 players in the league right now?
I think my standard for a top 5 player is somebody who's proven, someone who's like unguardable. I think for me, I've always had a mix that is this person certified and how well are they playing right now? Like we all know if LeBron turns it on, he could be a top 5 player. But the mix is LeBron playing like a top 5 player? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So my top 5 is a little different, man. What's tough is because all these young boys are coming up and the older guys are getting out of there. And like, I'll give 2 names that make the top 5 very scary. KD and LeBron. They may be injured. LeBron's a little older, so LeBron easily could not be a top 5 player. But we all know if I made a top 5 that didn't have LeBron on it, we'd lose our mind. But we'd be asking, is LeBron still a top 5 player? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give a soft top 5.
Okay.
LeBron, KD.
And this is no order, right?
No order. LeBron, okay. KD, Luka. Dame dropped a 70 ball. And Jokic.
Wait, could you
I like my 5.
Could you listen
I
again?
like my 5. Dame, KD, LeBron, Luka, and Jokic. I like my 5. Talk about it. And now y'all gonna be mad because I left Giannis off. But Giannis might be playing better than LeBron right now. but I'm gonna stick with that 5. I'm gonna stick with that 5 right now.
But what puts Dame over Giannis?
He dropped a 70 ball, my dude. He
So that's
dropped
all
a
it takes.
70 ball.
I
think he's
mean,
playing better right now.
Donovan Mitchell dropped 72. So why isn't he in the top 5?
Dame was on a different level this year. He did drop 70, but I think if you look at the totals, I think he had 50 balls in there. Dame went wild, and then when he got injured, and obviously I think he definitely had less help than Donovan had. But Donovan's a bad boy too. And as far as certified, I think Dame made it to the Western Conference Finals before also. So I think that's where you go when you start splitting hairs. You get into the history, but. Easily, Giannis could have an MVP type season. He could be definitely right there in it. So I think there is a mix of like, should LeBron even be in the 5? You know, a lot of these lists may not even have LeBron in their top 10. But I'm gonna keep him there, man. This dude seems to keep amazing every time we seem to count him out. And then he knocked out the Warriors. I thought he had a heck of a playoffs this year.
Yeah, he did. Individually, he did. And my second question is, I mean, we kind of moving away from this a little bit, but it's a little bit on LeBron. What's your definition of a super team?
You know what? I think I never minded super teams. I guess the challenge with a super team would be 3 players in their prime playing together, 3 top 5 players or vicinity. I would say 3 top 10 players in their prime playing together. And then if you get really selfish, you'll say, 2 of those. I would say 2 out of the 3 in their top 5 and all 3 in the top 10, I would say super team. So for instance, we'll say LeBron and Wade were arguably, top 5 players, and then Bosh will put them around the top 10. So you could say that was a super team. KD, I think definitely Kyrie, KD, and Harden, that would value as a super team. You got it's a wealth, essentially a wealth of talent. And but I think the league is so stacked, boy, they don't even care about this idea of super teams. Definitely, KD to the Warriors was a super team. I mean, it was 3 and 4 guys. When your team is so stacked that you can miss any. I'll answer this. I'll answer this simple because I did a lot of dancing right there. Any team, your team is so good that you can pull a guy off and you're still competing. You pull one all-star off and you can still compete for a championship. That's a super team. So if your team is good enough where they can miss one all-star and you still compete for a championship, that's a super team. Kyrie missed and you still had Harden and KD and darn near beat the Bucks. That was a super team, right? Because you had one guy missing and the team was still competing for a championship. Philadelphia 76ers, I wouldn't say super team because they were still very good, but let's say they had like a third guy in there, we may say super team. Clippers, I don't think I would give them a super team. You got to be good enough to where one legit all-star, superstar is missing, and then we're going to say super team. So Golden State Warriors probably would have won it without Steph or without KD. Super team, correct?
Okay. So would you consider the 2000s, that Pistons team, is that a super team? Because they made the conference finals 6 straight years in a row, and they missed Ben Wallace, and they still made the conference finals after he left. Would you consider that a super team, or because making it to the conference finals?
I don't think they came in. I don't think they came in as a super team, but I think you had to respect them, and I think they go pound for pound with any of the teams. But I don't think on paper we came in. So I think when we list our super teams, it's not on their achievements, but it's what they I guess what they will come in as,
Okay. My final question is: you think people try to use the idea of a super team to kind of demean what LeBron has accomplished? And do you think super teams existed before LeBron even showed up?
People would use their own mama to demean what LeBron has accomplished. LeBron is quite possibly the most criticized and polarizing figure that we have maybe ever seen in sports. For a guy who takes care of his children, ain't been in no trouble off the court, it amazes me. It's almost like the decision, that decision he made has haunted him to this day. And then what's the last thing you said? Is there somebody? What you said? What about in sports? Or was there another super team? Oh yeah, I think that you know what's funny. What I think is missing. They always be like Michael had to do it by himself. Like Michael Jordan had a super team, bro. Like y'all act like Dennis Rodman and Kukoc were like chopped liver. Like Michael had a super team also. It's funny, like they like mention those teams like, oh, he didn't really have that much. Like Michael had Scotty, and then he had Rodman. Like that was a big three, dog. That was a huge three. And maybe people don't view Rodman in that same way. But I think Michael definitely had a super team. Or Michael, the cupboard wasn't bare. And then when Ron Harper came over, Ron Harper was an all-star, and he was your fourth option chilling. So I don't think Ron Harper gets that respect. He wasn't prime Ron Harper. Ron Harper was a bad man when he came over there. So I do think that Michael definitely had a super team in that respect. I don't think that team, the talent gets valued enough what those Bulls had, especially at that time. Now super teams are more stacked. You know, back then the role player was more prevalent in the NBA. The role player was valued. Guys just knew they played their role. Now there's an abundance of talent. So for what that was, it was definitely a super team. You had historically the greatest rebounder in sports history on that team, complimenting what Michael did. Michael liked to shoot, Rodman liked to rebound. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I agree. But appreciate you answering my questions, and I'm gonna hop back in the chat. All right, salute BJ, salute Rick.
Yes, sir.
Salute,
And Celtics definitely have super teams. Celtics were so stacked. Oh my God. Lakers had super teams. Kareem, Magic, Worthy. Like, are you kidding me? Like James Worthy don't get his credit. James Worthy is like a top 70. Like James Worthy was ridiculous. Lakers definitely have super teams, bro.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, man. What you think about that whole well, I know we of course, you hear about it, it's like obviously, bad, but when you heard about the whole Bronny getting the cardiac arrest, what was your initial thoughts on that whole situation? Because a kid that young to get that type of it's kind of startling, man. Like what was your initial thoughts?
I had a chance to part-time coach Ronnie in high school. I was very emotional with the deal. I want to know that he was okay. He's an amazing kid. That's no parent that anybody wants to see. And he's Bronny's one of those guys that you want to pull for. But anytime a hooper goes down, I think we all, in football, how they take the knee. I think all hoopers symbolically took that knee for Bronny. So you want to see him play well, and I think it's just tough with that excitement comes across, and it's just a fluke thing, man. It seems like sometimes the really muscular guys, the fit guys, have that go on, and there's no rhyme or reason. And I think when you're young, you maybe don't know where your body is putting to the test, or you don't know when to stop. So I know Bronny had just got on campus. You imagine he was probably hooping, doing weights, running, doing all that, and his body just hit a shock. College ball is different, and it's an adjustment. So we pray that we'll see him playing this season. He doesn't get that news or all tests way out that he'll be able to play basketball again. But it's really sad when those things come. But to answer your original question, man, I was emotional, man. I was scared, and I'm glad that he's okay, and get right back to playing ball. But it was a really scary moment, man, and it's just news you never want to see flash across the screen, man. But I mean, Bronny's an amazing kid, dude. Like, he's a good kid, bro. He's a good kid. This ain't no knucklehead. Not that would mean any different, but he's a good kid, man.
Yeah, man. Well, what about you, Rick? When you heard about the whole thing,
I mean, look, man. I mean, I think Malik even took a picture with Bronny, right? Your younger brother, man. I mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, and this is coming from a father point of view, right? And Ron, I know you could probably attest to this. I mean, I just immediately sent prayers, man. I just put my head down, started praying for the James family. Because at the end of the day, despite who your daddy is, despite, we're all human, man. And so as fathers, man, that'll be that's one of the scariest moments I'm sure LeBron probably felt. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like I said, you take the NBA, you take basketball, just from, father to child, that had to been probably a very terrifying moment because like Ryan said, you don't really expect that from a young man, at Bronny's age. And, like I said, he probably was excited, he in there, like Ryan said, he in there just training, playing ball, having a good time like young men do. And then that just happens. Right. So, just basketball aside, man, when I first heard it, I put my head down and I started praying for the James family because I know that had to be scary, and I'm just happy they said that they got him going. He's good. He's recouping. And like Ron said, I agree with them. I just hope to see him, coming back strong. Obviously, they'll probably check in more on him now, since that happened. But I think that the fear factor was at an all-time high at that point, especially as a parent. So shout out to LeBron, man. Shout out to Bronny. Shout out to the rest of the family, man. I just knew that was probably a scary moment. So, as a father to father, man, that, big ups, man, and many prayers. That's how I felt.
Yeah, man. And yeah, like I got a chance to meet Bronny because my little brother took a picture with him. I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. Super mannerable kid, man. Doesn't even act like he's, LeBron James's son. Doesn't come off as cocky or nothing. He's just real respectful kid. So as far as him, from here on out, how fast, what kind of precautions do you think that he's gonna probably take before getting back on the court? Or can you see that him missing his first year at USC? I know we don't want to put no things out there, but I mean, it's definitely crossed my mind because cardiac arrest is like literally your heart stops. So it becomes more about his health and his basketball career at this moment.
We're speculating right here. I'm no doctor, but I think you answered it pretty closely. He may never play basketball another day in his life. The doctors may advise there may be something they can't fix. There may be a situation like a Sharif O'Neal where he has to get a surgery and it may cause him to miss a whole year to just kind of get his cardio back and get his heart back. This may be something that oddly just cleared up and they don't know. It may be an anomaly. It's random. So we don't know. And we'll leave that to the professionals, but it could be any of the three. I've seen all three. I've seen a guy never be able to compete again. I've seen probably, hey, get a little procedure, get out there and go. And I've seen maybe it was just a fluke. The doctors may see nothing wrong with him, So we ultimately don't know. Prayers up, and I think that would be just a matter for the heart. And like you said, to the James family, see what that young man wants. His spirit to talk to him like, hey man, I got to play again. Say that it's not, but we've seen hoopers through the times have heart issues and just not be able to play, or cut their career short, or kind of put a question, a matter of the heart to them.
And serious talk, man. But we almost at 2 hours, man. So let's go ahead and wrap it up here. So Rick, you can go ahead and ask that next question.
Oh no, man. What's popping? Since we wrapping it up, what you got going on? I mean, we know we got the big three. We know you with the Houston Rockets, man. Analyst, commentator. So what you got going on personally, man? You got any new projects coming? You got anything going on revolving around the NBA or something that you're doing on your own that we should tune into as fans and people of the lovers of the sports? Like what you got coming up?
Biggest thing I need from you guys, support me on the NBA Rookie Life podcast is what I heart in the NBA. It's definitely a blessing having some real cool guests on there, some hoop talk like you guys like. And I need your support, man. I need y'all to rock with me. If you don't feel like listening, just give a like to it and don't listen. Go give a like, subscribe, and go on about your business, man, and spread the word, man. Really cool stuff. I'm gonna have some amazing guests on there. If you guys are privileged enough or feel like I can be privileged enough, go ahead and give it a listen. But have some cool stuff. Just had Nick Young on and talked about some fun stuff and his championship with the Warriors, his fashion, kind of as a player, hoop talk, and some really cool Kobe Bryant stories too. You probably never heard relationship with him and Kobe. The time that he had it was able to spend there. So cool stuff there. And you guys give it a listen if you can. NBA Rookie Life podcast, and it's with the NBA. So it's fun stuff, man. It's fun stuff. And I put clips up on my IG, and then the podcast gets dropped, and it's an amazing opportunity, man. So I'm looking to grow up and grow it, and shoot, y'all can be some of the first to rock with me.
Man,
Yo,
say
BJ
less.
dropped the link in the chat, so make sure you put it on the big screen so everybody can see it. The NBA Rookie Life.
Yeah. So it's on iHeartRadio right there. Y'all can see this Ryan Hollins' podcast, NBA Rookie Life with Ryan. I already know it's dope because Ryan has that voice to actually engage with the audience. I can just already see it. So I'm definitely gonna be listening. And I'm pretty sure the guests he got, like you said, Nick Young, and here on out, it's gonna be dope. What we'll do is we'll drop it into the description box so everybody can click on it. But Ryan, also we got our podcast on Instagram too, so I'm just gonna follow you on there so we can just keep on contact with all your stuff.
For sure. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And I actually do have an Instagram page. It's called Rookie Life, Rookie Life Pod. You guys can shoot a follow. It's on my IG, tag to it and everything. So you guys go check that out. Go support. Appreciate you guys, man. Just dropping a little comment, spread the word, whatever you feel comfortable with, man. It all helps.
Gotcha.
I'm about to go find it now, BJ. So hold on real quick. I'm about to go find that link so we can post it up real quick.
All right, cool. So y'all see the link right there. Make sure y'all go and follow that in the chat box as well. Ryan Hollins' podcast on iHeartRadio, and he's finding Instagram right now. Y'all can follow him on Instagram and IG. And let's see if we got any more comments before we end it.
All right, here we go, y'all. Let me see. All right, B Jizzle, it's about to post in a few seconds.
Okay. Yeah, Hope said thank you, BJ, Rick, and Ryan. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Hope.
Shout out, Hope.
Yeah.
I posted it. There we go. So there's the Instagram, y'all. There's the Instagram right there.
Okay, yeah. So y'all go follow his Instagram, Rookie Life Pod. You know what I'm saying? That's Ryan Hollins' podcast. Y'all go and support all my people. Go and support him, man. And don't just like it. Go take a chance and actually listen to the damn thing. You know what I mean? So, but anything else, Ryan, before I know you got, the big 3 tomorrow. You got to get rest and all that good stuff. So, anything else you want to, add on before we, end the show?
No, that's pretty much it, man. And shout out my Houston Rockets. Go check us out this season, man. And y'all come rep with me on my IG page, and we'll talk.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Oh, you already know what time it is with us, bro. I already know.
Appreciate you guys, man.
All day.
Yes, sir. Day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, "Don't be a stranger, Ryan. Thanks for your time." That's what Pagan 180 just said. Yes, sir. But all right, y'all. So that's gonna conclude this episode. We definitely appreciate Mr. Hollins for coming in, man. World class guest, bro. We'll definitely catch you next time. We'll definitely tap it on the Instagram with you, Ryan. But you have a good night, my brother, and we checking in with you later.
Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
All right, peace. All right. So that's conclusion. You know what I mean? That was Mr. Ryan Hollins, NBA color commentator and former player. Go and follow him on Instagram, like he said. Go follow his Instagram, Rookie Life Pod. You know what I'm saying? And go follow him also on his podcast on iHeartRadio. You guys can check it out. Go listen to his, guests and all that good stuff. Bruce said, Thomas, don't go to Ryan's page. Hello. Oh man. Rick, what you got to say, bro?
Man, you know what? It's always a blessing, man. You know that we, especially Ryan, man. One thing I love about Ryan interviews, and Rob kind of has the same, type of energy too, man. It feel like family when those two come on. You know what I mean? It feel like you talking to a big brother or uncle. Like it just has that family vibe. Like they talk real basketball. Don't care how anybody else feel. They just gonna give you their perspective on it. And that's one thing I respect about those two in general, man. Like, I just like when they come on and just talk the game with you. You could tell they love the sport. Obviously, Ryan played in the league himself. He played with different teams in the league in his tenure. So, he definitely knows the game. And now he's, analyzing the game as a professional. So, man, y'all make sure y'all go check out his podcast, his Instagram. I'm already following him. Already been on top of. Sometimes y'all even see me post. If y'all check out my page, I find a clip that I really like and just post it up. So y'all make sure y'all go support him, like he said, on the iHeart, on the Instagram, on any of his pages. That man and he be having like phenomenal guests, by the way. Like so he bringing on people of look, Hope said Rick reminds me of a preacher when he speaks. Hey man, that's a compliment. You know what I'm saying? That's a
Yeah.
compliment. I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, he's just one of those guys, man, that you love to speak the game of basketball with. You know what I mean? And so definitely, we got to have him back on. The invitation is always here with us at the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, obviously. So we really appreciate him, man. It's always a blessing. I always appreciate his time. He's obviously a family man, a busy man, and he always make time to come see us. So, man, it's just nothing but love for the Hollins family from me. And yeah, man, you already know that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, man. And definitely like if we get a chance to, be on his pod or get a chance to rock with,
Oh man,
he gets a chance to bring some of his, people over here, though you already know how it is.
oh yeah.
With that, bro. Cause I already know Ryan Hollins, he got like a lot of, everybody in the NBA.
You know everybody. You know everybody, man. And what's crazy is, like I said, like between him and Rob Parker, those two, they know everybody, but they just regular folks, man. It's like you
They
just
really
talking to
are.
somebody in a restaurant, on the street, at a court. They just speaking basketball. They just having a good time and just relaxing. And I like those vibes, man. So yeah, definitely one of a kind. Stand up brother, man.
Oh yeah, and I think the biggest thing with Ryan, I think people give him a hard time because of his LeBron James stance. But you gotta understand, like once you really like when you really hear him talk about why he puts LeBron as the GOAT, you don't have to agree with it because I think it's Jordan and then Kobe and then LeBron. But it's his opinion, and basically you gotta remember he played against LeBron. So you remember he told us that story when LeBron went like almost
He
perfect for
just
the
flipped the
field.
switch. He just flipped the
Yeah, that
switch.
that
Yeah.
that game 6 in Boston, that's when Ryan Hollins was on the Celtics. He witnessed that he was actually on the court with LeBron. So that's still in his vision. That's still in his head. He said he's different. And he said that he recalled Paul Pierce, KG, and them talking trash to LeBron. Like, remember, Ryan was not a big LeBron dude before he
Mhm.
played against him in that series. So this wasn't something like, oh, Ryan Hollins is so buddy with LeBron. No, he actually seen it up close what this dude was on the court. So it kind of makes sense why he feels about LeBron how he does. So
Absolute.
when he told us that the last time he came on, I was like, all right, now I see why. Now I see why.
I mean, LeBron been cooking folks for 20 years now, man. But I just know my favorite moment is when he was playing against them Pistons, man, back in 07. Like
Mm-hmm.
that man literally was just dunking on dunkers.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't do nothing with him. So, at the end of the day, man, despite how if you love him, if you hate, LeBron, if you so with him, and everybody know my stance on him, it's like a love-hate, because at the end of the day, he may not have stood up to my expectations, but his expectations are great nonetheless, man. So I'm always gonna respect him as a player. And the dude is just one of a kind, man. I mean, you it'd be crazy to say he ain't no good. That's straight cap. So
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how you feel about him, that he's one of the greatest players of all time, and he's shown that in different moments in his career, long career at that. So as you know, whether, like I said, love him or hate him, we definitely respect him.
Yeah, man. Well, that's gonna end tonight's show, man. We'll be back on tomorrow morning, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got a great live. You guys do not want to miss this one, bro. I'm gonna do a very detailed live tomorrow, man. Y'all don't want to miss this. Just make sure y'all in attendance. Make sure you share it and like the video. Make sure y'all come in, hit the like button.
Yeah, absolutely.
Algorithms on YouTube, I told y'all this before. How they work is if you like the video more and more, our videos and lives get into like the mix and the pool of people actually coming and checking us out and getting the live numbers up. So make sure y'all hit that like video. Very important. But let's go to end it here, Rick, man. You can end the show and we'll be done.
Yo, man, y'all already know who it is. It's your co-host at Rick Masters 23 on Mr. Lee, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, man. Y'all already know we affiliated with YouTube. So, man, come join us, man. If you love what you seeing, if you love what you watching, you know we bringing y'all quality people. We just had Ryan Hollins, man, Rob Parker, Rick Barry this Sunday, man, Steve Kerr a few weeks ago. I mean, look, man, y'all already know what we bringing to y'all, man. So, hey, if you're not joining, hey, at least just like and subscribe. Kind of like what Ron is saying, just show love, man. You ain't even got to listen to the whole thing. Get us out there, man. Like I said, me and BJ bringing y'all quality content, man. And, for everybody who's already, subscribed and joined, we love y'all, man. We really do. We mean that. We really do mean that. We appreciate y'all, and we love when y'all show up, man. So just keep supporting. But yo, man, B Jizzle, I'm gonna throw that assist back to you.
And like he said, man, we got Rick Barry coming in on Sunday morning for our Sunday show, man. Rick Barry, let me tell y'all something before I end it. Rick Barry is one of the top 5 greatest Golden State Warrior players of all time. Steph Curry, KD, Wilt Chamberlain, Rick Barry's in that top 5. If you guys have not watched Rick Barry's film, go and watch Rick Barry because you can see how great of a player he is, as well as he was very, very intelligent when you see him off the screen, how he speaks, how he articulates the game. He's one of the brightest minds in NBA history, NBA Hall of Famer, you know what I'm saying, top 75 player for Christ's sake. So it's like, it makes sense, well, why we brought him on. So if you guys want to get some knowledge, y'all want to get really, really taught something, make sure y'all bring y'all behinds here Sunday morning because Rick Barry's going to be giving y'all a treat. So him, and we got more guests coming in because, we got the whole summer. We got still a whole month of August left. We got some more guests coming in. So y'all don't want to miss this, man. And then, again, if you guys have a way, y'all want to get y'all membership badge, like I said, go onto our YouTube page, hit that button where it says join on the top of the page, and that's how y'all can get y'all membership badges. You know what I mean? And we'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. Out of here like swim well.
We like that. Woo!